Welcome back to Mega Man 03. Last time, we fought a big ice cactus who just really loved handing out executions for minor offenses. I'm going to assume he also threatens death for jaywalking. That being said though, next on our list of things to do is go to the library. So yes, this library was sunk, but it might still have some information for us, so we're heading off there to do some reading. Or at the very least, collect some data. We probably don't just want to sit there for hours reading, there are a lot of things trying to kill Zero and the Resistance, so we can have the nerds read, while we go off fighting other people. Anyway though, yeah, here we are at the library. This is a pretty simple stage. You just have to mine the water here. It is usually safe, except when it isn't. And it is pretty obvious when it isn't because there are some live wires around here, so it's not exactly subtle when the water is dangerous. I think you can guess that that is the state where you cannot enter water. It's not a one-hit kill or anything, so don't worry about that, but, you know, don't just go diving in. You don't want pain, it's just not as much pain as it could be. It's not immediately body-destroying. Anyway though, since this is a relatively simple stage, other than a bit of a gimmick we'll get to in a moment, let's talk about a couple more drama tracks, actually. These are the drama tracks Record 1, Clockwork Apple, and Record 2, Irregular Passion. As a reminder, irregular is the Japanese term for maverick, so just for reference, in case you need to remember that, that's what's going on. Anyway though, right, so, these drama tracks involve a character that we do actually know, though perhaps not by this name. It is TK31 of the Neo Arcadia City Management Bureau. So, TK31, alongside a few other Reploids, is actually tasked with investigating this very library. In fact, for the same reason, more or less, Harpuya has them go to find some data, which, hey, we're gonna be doing that right now! Well, we're going to be looking for it. This is just the database, so we're going to use this to search for the particular information we need. So, we've got 4 matches, and we need to find all 4 of these secret discs in their particular rooms. The game will show you a random room. If you need help, there is a map that shows the layout of all the rooms coming up, but yeah, you need to memorize the general position of each room, so I need to find a red room surrounded by yellow-blue, red below, blue next to that, green next to that. So yeah, pretty much I just downloaded the map, circled the rooms I need to go to, and the mission's easy enough from there. So yeah, this is not going to be the same in every game, so you do need to actually look at these. Nothing terrible happens if you get the wrong room, but you do lose mission points, so if you do care about rank, don't mess up. If you mess up, restart. Anyway though, right, so while Zero is going around looking for all the books he needs to find, TK31 finds this library, and while he was supposed to look for data, he found something he shouldn't. In fact, a lot of the information he found was actually related to information we're looking for. Apparently the translation for one of the things he finds, at one point when he's looking through the information, he's just, you know, listing off the things that happens, and he specifically mentions Dr. Vile, a super first-class war criminal, which is wording I find to be very funny. He's not just a war criminal, he's a war criminal among war criminals. He is in fact the worst one. They don't give awards for those, but they do give ranks, and you don't want the highest one, because then they launch you into space. He also finds information about, I guess, a counter to the horrible atrocities he learns about. It is something called Project Elpis, or as it would be called in the US, Project El Piso. Of course, Harpooia finds that TK-31 found data he wasn't supposed to, and in Record 2 Irregular Passion, he is judged almost immediately. In fact, he doesn't even go to the 8 gentle judges. Harpooia just comes in and is like, "Hi, we blew up that library, it's underwater now. You learned something you're not supposed to. I'm going to kill you." But something happens that actually distracts Harpooia, and TK-31 manages to get out along with another Reploid, HE-22. Now, I'm not actually entirely sure who HE-22 is supposed to be, but the event is basically connected to the Resistance, if I remember correctly, so I would assume it could very well be Zero blowing up Copy X. Maybe we saved somebody's life by doing that, but either way, HE-22 suggests that they join up with Resistance. And once they have escaped, TK-31 actually insists on going by a new name. And as you might imagine, he takes the very same name of the project that was supposed to bring hope, El Piso. Also as a note, that particular drama track does end with El Piso talking about wanting more power, so yes, he was already doing that before he even entered the Resistance officially. So, yeah, I feel like he was always doomed to make this particular mistake. So yeah, that is a bit more backstory on El Piso, and the information he found in this library, which, as you've probably noticed by now, we have not been seeing the full picture here. The information is very damaged at this point. Although we do mention the Mother Elf here. So yeah, this is some of the information we do get a little more freely, but one of them was just absolutely ruined. Hopefully we can get that fixed up, but at the very least we have a little more information on the Dark Elf, or the Mother Elf as she was once known as, before Dr. Vile did his thing and made her evil, because he's Dr. Vile, what else would he do? If you ever needed to prove nominative determination, I feel like Dr. Vile was probably his birth name. I don't know if the court would ever let you change to Dr. Vile. That seems like a bad idea, just... I know they're supposed to be at least kind of open to it, but I feel like if somebody says, "Hi, I'd like to be known as Dr. Vile now," you should probably just say no. Anyway, here's Biblio. He's our next boss. He's pretty easy. And he's a little bastard, as you could probably tell from his manner of speech and just his whole voice acting and battle style. So like Phoenix Magnion, depending on the order you do things, you get a different room configuration to fight this guy in. I would not call this the easiest room to use to fight him, but it's not terrible either. It meant that attack wasn't a problem at all. So yeah, he basically just tries to play a game of keep away, use some homing shots, and towards the back half of the fight he will come out and try to hit you, just, you know, normal style. He's got good reach, but again, depending on your room layout, that might be easier to dodge than the first bit. Alright, so I could have killed more things, but other than that, that was a good run. Also, if you're wondering, those 4 secret discs do actually count, you know, as the usual 10, so... if you don't particularly like the whole secret disc thing, don't worry, you get 4 freebies in this mission, which is definitely something I like. I only had to worry about 6 of these things this time. We also got the Shadowfoot ship, which is the one I mentioned before. That allows you to dash through certain things, including those lasers that summoned enemies in the other mission. So yeah, you also get that as a freebie just for beating the stage. Alright, well, analyze the heck out of it, because some of them were not particularly useful in their current state. At least we know a little more about the Dark Elf. That's kind of nice. I mean, X did already tell us that she wasn't always evil, she went by a different name once, and yeah, now it's a little more concrete. She is the Mother Elf. Dark Elf was Mother Elf before Dr. Vile altered her. Omega was made by Dr. Vile, but was banished to space. Use of Dark Elf made the Elf Wars terribly tragic. I don't know, considering it irreparably altered El Piso, I feel like that's a bit of an understatement. So yeah, we don't know the full extent of these Elf Wars, but it was kind of the thing that set El Piso on the path to madness. Because he learned something he really shouldn't have, was punished for it, and then from that point onward thought, hey, if I'm gonna save this world, I think I'm gonna have to get more power. And that went horribly wrong for everyone. Mostly for El Piso. Alright, so that'll do it for the library and some backstory. I'm sure we'll touch on that one again at some point, but for now, that's it for Mega Man 03. Next time... what if there were just a lot of babies? Have you ever considered that? What if many babies?